Welcome back, everyone. Dr. Bill Angel with us from OSU Lima, talking a little bit of the smoke has cleared there from Election Day. Now, I must say, not to pat you on your own back, but I think you got every prediction you told me the last time you were here, one of those being J.D. Vance. Now, he got the endorsement of President Trump. Do you think it's because of that endorsement it helped, or did Trump just say, I think this guy's going to win, I'm going to put my name on him?
I think it's both those.
Okay.
I think that Trump felt he had the best chance, and he realized it was going to be Tim Ryan, was going to be the Senate nominee from the Democrats. And so he thought that of all those characters, Vance gave him the best option to win that Senate seat.
Yeah, it was interesting, too. You were telling me you think that, I asked you, do you think Ryan's got a good chance against Vance? You said, yeah, and they're trying to appeal to some of the same voters, right?
Vance's appeal is to that sort of white working class vote that's felt alienated by Democrats over the past few years, mainly over trade issues. But he's also kind of got into some of Trump's issues on Mexican border and immigrants and things like that. And he sort of used some of the Trump rhetoric about corrupt Washington and opposing free trade and stuff like that. So, I mean, that's not far from where Ryan is. I mean, Ryan ran for president in 2020. And basically ran on a message that was very much opposed to the way most of the progressive left of Democratic Party has been going. So he's the kind of guy I think that can appeal to that white working class voter.
We did a poll on First Edition the other day, and they said most viewers felt that this was one of the most negative campaigns they'd ever seen. Did it shock you, some of the... I mean, you had Gibbons and Mandel almost duking it out on stage.
Well, I think it was sort of going back to 2016, and he was making comments about he was opposed to Trump. The context for that, though, is that he had written a book, Hillbilly Elegy, and he was trying to promote the book. And so in the process of promoting the book, he was saying negative things about Donald Trump. Now, 4 years later, he's running for president, and Trump realizes, despite what he said in the past, the fact of the matter is he has this message that can appeal to his voter base was very appealing to President Trump.
The governor's race, I think we pretty much knew it would be Mike DeWine on the GOP side. Nan Whaley, you predicted, would win on the Democratic side. What's her strategy now going into November?
Well, it's going to be a hard race for Nan to win. First of all, I mean, mainly because DeWine got through a primary where a lot of people were against him.
Yeah.
And especially on the COVID issue, the way he handled COVID and things like that. And so it's sort of establishment Republicanism is what sort of appeals to Ohio. And that's the sort of thing we have to remember out of Ohio politics. Ohio used to be a state, was a kind of a toss-up state, a bellwether state.
Not so much
It's
anymore.
not so much anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, in 2020, Biden lost Ohio by a lot, by 8%. And so it doesn't appear that Ohio is pretty much that sort of toss-up state that it used to be.
So GOP voters who weren't happy about his early reactions to the pandemic, now you think they rally behind him, though?
I think so. I think so, basically because there was no really appealing alternative. Jim Renacci was not somebody who was going to appeal to the average GOP voter. And there was no J.D. Vance running in that race. Had J.D. Vance ran for governor, who knows how that would have turned out. But I think Trump realized that the J.D. Vance candidacy was best for the party if you're going to face Tim Ryan.
For the 4th District congressional race, did it surprise you that Seitz did not win on the Democratic side?
Yeah, it did, because he'd run a fairly strong race before.
Yeah, I saw a lot of it.
I have no explanation for that. I really have no explanation for it.
Yeah, but we get to November with that one. That's probably a foregone conclusion.
I mean, Jordan's going to win.
Yeah.
He's going to win.
Anything else that surprised you with the numbers that you saw in these key races?
Well, the one thing that I did notice was Marcy Kaptur up in Toledo is going to get a pretty strong challenge from a pro-Trump candidate, and we'll have to see how that goes, because that's a state that's been, regardless, she's held that seat for a long time, but they've gerrymandered it in such a way that she now may not be quite as strong as she once was.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, and especially, as you said, the Trump influence going into November. We'll see.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much. Good seeing you. I appreciate it. DeWine Medical News coming up next on Noon Edition.